"You're in such good shape. Beautiful." What Trump told Brigitte Macron, 64, after awkward embrace of French First Lady, and he repeated it to her husband, 39. Donald Trump complimented the French First Lady Brigitte Macron after spending an hour with her on Thursday, saying, "You're in such good shape." He told the 64-year-old wife of Emmanuel Macron, 39, that she was beautiful and repeated his words about being in shape to her husband at the end of an official welcome ceremony in Paris. The comments were caught on camera by a French government video crew and posted to Facebook. The awkward exchange came after a lingering embrace with Mme Macron as she and her husband welcomed him and Melania to Paris on the eve of Bastille Day. Trump kissed Mme Macron Parisian-style, once on each cheek, before taking both her hands for a prolonged grip, in which he appeared to jerk her left arm towards him. The warm welcome came at the start of the flying visit that began with an official welcome ceremony at Les Invalides, the complex of buildings that serve as a monument to the French military in central Paris. Trump and Macron were welcomed by a military band during a ceremony that preceded a tour of the military museum. The two presidents walked out together solemnly into an open square, where they listened to both countries' national anthems, then made their way toward the Cathedral of Saint Louis des Invalides. Trump put his hand on his heart as the Star-Spangled Banner played. Macron stood tall and still during it and La Marseillaise. First Lady Brigitte Macron of France and First Lady of the United States Melania Trump looked on from the steps of the cathedral as their husbands stopped to observe the building's architecture. Macron placed his hand on Trump's back as they walked over to a receiving line of military officials and aides and shook each of their hands. On the U.S. side, White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Joseph Dunford, National Economic Advisor Gary Cohn, Deputy National Security Advisor Dinah Powell and Homeland Security Advisor Thomas Bossert were greeted first by Macron, then Trump, who trailed behind. He was introduced afterward to their French counterparts, shaking their hands as Macron gave him their names. The presidents reunited with their wives when the ceremony concluded to pay their respects to Napoleon, the emperor seen as the founder of modern France, although he was defeated in 1815 at Waterloo, and Marshal Foch, the French general who was the supreme Allied commander in World War I. Macron was seen smacking his wife on the bottom by reporters during the walk through the monument, to her surprise. Both couples held hands in a show of affection as they approached Napoleon's final resting place. The men moved on to Élysée afterward to begin the tough work of the day, diplomatic talks, as their wives continued on their sightseeing adventure. A visit to Notre Dame Cathedral and a Seine River boat tour were next on the First Lady's agenda. Having met 3 times before, in Brussels, Sicily and Hamburg during previous summits, the two women were like old friends. Macron put her arm around Trump's waist at one point and as they walked around. At the end of their 30-minute tour of the famed French cathedral, Melania Trump lit a candle and held a moment of silence. She was gifted by the church's rector, before she left, with a bell.